live again. Odell Beckham got choked out on Sunday, but that is not why we were here, sir. We are here for other combat sports. This is Throwing Smoke, representing the blue corner from Married AF, part of Civilized Creatures Podcast Network, Entertainment Network, killing this shit. Uncle Randy himself, Mr. Randall Fowler.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, buddy?
Not a lot, baby. We got a shit ton of stuff to cover.
Shit ton of stuff. Representing the red in the official clothing himself, Joe B from Any Podcast, as you can see in the freaking title right there. Come check this out. Throwing Smoke, baby. A lot of fights happened since we were here last. We're only every other week show for now. Maybe if we pick up steam, some heavy hands, then maybe we'll be able to dive in weekly. But there was a lot of action. A lot of action. I don't even know. Oh, you had Mexico City, you had Bellator, you had the Spence fight, you had another UFC, Copenhagen.
Yep.
You said something before, like you get the point of like it's hard to find stars. And with these cards that, especially these two cards, where there were controversies in both cards, is the UFC stretching themselves too thin?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's where I think it's going to hurt them is you're losing the magic of a pay-per-view, right? Like to me, like pay-per-view, I remember clearly the Gustafson John Jones fight. I had a group of people got together to watch that fight. And now people don't do it because there's a fight every weekend. They could be anybody. For me, they're hard to predict too, because these are a lot of up and comers. You know, we don't know a whole lot about a lot of the people on the card. That's no excuse. You killed me. But yeah, so it makes it tough. I mean, I'm as a purist, I mean, me and you will watch them always if we can. But for the casual fan, I think it's flooding your market.
Yeah. I think what they're, especially now, like Mexico City, they're in Mexico, so you saw a lot of Mexican fighters.
Sure.
They were in Copenhagen in Denmark.
Yeah.
So you're getting a lot of their fighters. But I mean, they're looking for stars. They got to do something, right? The top dogs that they're not there anymore, or there's some taintedness to them. Conor McGregor, John Jones, there's some tainted issues there, and they're exciting fighters to watch. So you want them to do well inside and outside of the cage, and when that shit does not happen, you got to look for stars. I thought Dalby from the Copenhagen card, I thought he's I mean, we'll get to him more later on, but I think he's the next one to watch as far as their out of country performers are going.
For sure.
We'll dive a lot to go. We'll dive deep. Mexico City, Rodriguez versus Stevens. What the fuck? I mean, yes, I did good as far as what I picked for going the 3-0 and 2.
Yep.
We had a draw and a no contest, so I'll take those wins. But the first one, dude, I got lucky as shit. Steven Peterson versus Martin Barvo, second round KO with a beautiful spinning back fist knockout counter.
Yeah, it was as good of one as as you'll ever see. As clean of a fucking spinning back fist knockout.
I mean, it's perfectly timed. He had missed with the left, right? He threw out the jab. Barvo ducks it, spins. Peterson sees the spin coming, gets under it with his own spin, and lands and just drops. But leading up to that, I mean, I thought you were going to take that one for sure.
No, it was a good scrap up until it was actually entertaining. I enjoyed watching it. It was entertaining, and they were both going for the win. I'm okay with that. You know, when a guy gets caught with a spinning back, I mean, what can you do? If that lands clean, everybody's going night-night usually because they land clean.
I will say, for the volume of punches that landed from Barvo to Peterson didn't look that beat up.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like, it's so weird how a lot of it's genetic, right? Like, even me, when I was training and stuff, even now, if I don't bruise unless a bone is broken, like I have so much iron I don't bruise. I don't swell unless it's severe. But then you got people that can, you got like the Diaz. There's so much scar tissue. If you fart next to them, you can cut their eyebrow open. I mean, everyone knows that in there. They bruise and bleed. So,
Yeah.
but it's also those guys are, they're pros and they learn how to roll with punches. So that us watching it, they may look clean, but you got to go with what the fighter says. If he says I was never rocked, then he probably absorbed most of it with his, movement.
1 second. Tweeting this out that we are live.
But I
No,
give you that one. That was a good call by you. I submit fully. I have no excuse on that pick. I lost that pick. But as we go forward, I'll have my gripes. And so I'm an old man.
it's all right. I mean, it happens. I'm gonna ruin her name because the way that they were pronouncing it is not how I would pronounce it. But Irene Aldana defeats Vanessa Melo. Vanessa, I think she came in after a long layoff.
Mm-hmm.
She missed weight.
Yep.
So she lost 3,000 of her purse right off the top. And then Aldana, I mean, she just outclassed her. Like
she just got outclassed.
It looked like two not separate weight classes, but just two different levels of fighting.
Yeah,
Like it was crazy that it didn't look like Aldana should have been the one that Melo fought coming back after a long layover.
100%. I was as soon as they exchanged, like it's funny. I don't know if you do this too, but if someone's fighting and I know one fighter and don't know the other one, I can usually tell pretty quick when they do their first exchange. Like if the other one has the deer in the headlights look, or like the oh shit, or if you're comfortable in there. And I knew she was beat. She couldn't get finished though. She took the whole. She took a lot of punishment.
Yeah. No, she definitely did. I would have, if she would have ended up winning, it would have been a surprise. But she definitely took a lot of punches to the face and the body. Like it was a good fight,
dude. You got to give it up, man. Women, they bring it every fight. Like I promise you, I'm to the point where I will say it. Pound for pound, I think women's fights are better. Like they bring it every fight. You don't. With the guys, you catch the occasional turd where guys won't fire, the Derek Lewis and then Ganus, and you find those a lot. The fucking women, they come to scrap every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Yeah, it's impressive to see them come up and the new talent that's come out. I see more better talent of women coming out than some of the men as far as the young prospects.
Yep.
Just gotta find that star.
Yep.
Brandon Moreno split draw with Askarov.
To me, the best fight, like these two guys, I felt like brought the best out of each other. They could run this one back again on a bigger card. Like these two guys earned their spot, right? Moreno was cut by the UFC. He was a prospect, left, came back. They brought him back a lot because he's Mexican. It was a great hometown draw. Plus, he's a stud when he's right.
Yeah.
And I did not. I took Askar by a long shot, and I think he beats most people. But those sometimes two guys fight and they bring the best out of each other. This was a great fight.
Askarov definitely a killer with the ground, dude. He got his takedowns. I don't want to say when he wanted, but often enough that he showed that he can get them when he needs to. Moreno had great transitions on the ground, reverses, never stop moving. I get the draw. I'll take it. It could have gone either way. I think Moreno stayed busy enough on the ground and standing up, where Askarov, I mean, he just had him on the ground. As soon as he wanted to take him down, he would take him down.
Yeah. What my only beef with it, I'm okay with the decision too, actually. I mean, I can't, no one could argue like that anyone got robbed, but it's all about what you score takedowns, right? Like it's never been clarified. Like it's judge for judge, but those were a huge differentiator and number of takedowns, and it depends on how you weigh those. You know.
That's the thing with still being in that 10-8 system of the boxing and not coming up with their own
Mm-hmm.
scoring thing. I don't see how, maybe not because they're done through athletic commissions. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't, the UFC I don't think can hire refs or judges or whatever.
Yeah.
I have no idea how what Herb Dean's like a part of to be able to go all over the world and still ref fights.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would like to see refs turn into judges.
For sure,
Would
or
be a
old
nice one.
fighters.
Yeah, or old fighters. But there's got to be some system of. But I mean, even their unified rules. Not every place has to recognize it, which I don't get that.
I know.
Like
That's.
the elbow thing, like it should be across the board.
Mm-hmm. Instant
Or
replay varies by where they go.
yeah, what's the downed opponent? 2 hands, 1 hand. Like that should be across the board everywhere. It shouldn't matter if it's in Nevada, New York, Rhode Island, anywhere. It should all be the same.
Oh, I agree 100%. It's too big of a sport not to. Like that's such a fuckery that's not consistent yet, and I'm sure it's coming. I mean, with the growth of the sport and the commercialization of it,
Mhm.
that's on the horizon. But you know, when they do that and they figure it out, I think some of these questions will be answered. But as much as I gripe about it, just because I love wrestling, I love the how hard it is, but I know it's not sexy. You know, it's not what everybody wants to see. You know, they think it's laying and praying, and I don't think they understand how hard. Not only is it to secure a takedown, but to lay on another man or woman and make them basically submit to your strength and not be able to move, to hold someone on the ground that's full of adrenaline, piss, vinegar, and they can't do anything, it's fucking tough to do. It's really tough.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. Like we were saying before we got live tonight, is I think judges see it, and with not having the experience of what goes into an actual takedown, is they see somebody do it so effortlessly that it's like, oh shit, that must be easy.
Yeah.
When really, it's not.
No,
I mean,
you're right.
even defense is tough, like getting the sprawl right. So I mean, the people that can stand there with on one foot and hopping around, avoiding the full takedown is almost as impressive.
Well, to me, like if somebody, if I take you down and you immediately pop up, I'm cool with those nulling each other. Like boom, just like neither one ever happened, right? Like nobody gets any awarded really any points. But if I take you down and you can't do shit for 42 seconds, you know, I feel like that should be considered. The fact that I neutralize you. Now I should be staying busy and I should be working, trying to advance my position at least. But I really should be raining down elbows, punches, doing something to improve. But these stand-ups, and we'll get to a couple of these later, are getting out of hand where they're really hurting some fighters and taking away their abilities to win just because it's not sexy for a lot of the TV audience.
Mm. Well said. Carla Esparza defeated Alexa Grasso by majority decision. So it's at what? Uh, One of them had a 10-8 round. The other one won 2 rounds.
Yeah. And I call robbery on this one. I have to. I just Esparza. I know her nose gets busted a lot. It really does, and she's a grinder. And this goes against everything I just said to everyone about being pro wrestler because that's what she is.
Mm.
But man, she took a lot of fucking punishment, and she was. Here's what it is, though. Who should be upset with themselves is Alexa because she didn't finish Carla. She had a minute there where Carla did not know what universe she was on.
Right.
And Alexa stayed back and wouldn't attack. And I get that for a second when you're worried you're going to rush in and get clipped with something. But her corner was like, what the fuck are you doing? Go, go. You know, like she just couldn't finish her. And that's her fault because then she let Carla recover.
Right. Yeah. No, she definitely didn't pull the trigger when she should have and finished her off.
Lesson learned right there. She's a young one. She's a beast, though. Alexa will be fine. She's a stud. She'll get better and better.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Carla's no joke, man. She gets overlooked, but she's an old school wrestler, Ultimate Fighter, original UFC strawweight champion, the first one.
Yeah, she defeated Rose to get the belt and then lost it right away to Joanna.
Really quickly. Joanna tore her face up. Dear
Right.
God.
I think Alexa could have done the same had she had pulled the trigger instead of freezing, like you said. I think part of the problem was those first 2 rounds. I mean, Carla was just on top of her.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't it was that 3rd round, I think, where she really came out and started busting her. I mean, she had her. She could have.
Oh, she busted her up in the second, didn't finish her at the end of the round. And then, a veteran like Carla, man.
Yeah, they know how to hold on.
You can't let them get their marbles back.
No.
You can't.
It wasn't a bad card overall, but not
No,
great.
it was headed toward being a above average to good card. Had what happened at the end not happen.
Jeremy Stevens versus Yair Rodriguez. No contest due to an eye poke after 15 seconds. Scratch cornea. Ended it. Couldn't. His eye was just spasming. That's what they were saying. That his eye just was spasming the whole time. And
they couldn't hold it open. They couldn't even get it open to look to see what the damage was.
So
just shaking in their boots, and I get it. But my question for you is, watching it first live and then the replay, how did the poke look to you?
It looked like it got his other eye more. I was kind of confused because I thought he got poked in his left eye or his right eye.
Right eye. It ended up being his left eye.
Right. But you can see as the hand comes down, the middle or the index finger does brush on that side, catches the lip. So I mean, maybe if it's just the nail out enough to just barely scrape by. I've been poked in the eye.
Yeah.
I know it hurts. I can only imagine when it's like a dude's nail full of sweat and Vaseline coming down in your face.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of arguments with that. For one, I mean, I've talked about it on Married AF. I'm obsessive about how short I keep my fingernails, but that's from training. They check your fingernails at the cage when they're checking you in. They check everything, but they check your fingernails when they make you turn them over and look at them. So they can't be long. There's no way they were very long. I'm not disputing Jeremy Stevens. I would never question him. He's a workhorse, tried and true badass. So he did get a corneal abrasion, and people that think he wanted out, to me, you're an idiot. That would never happen. The guy's in Mexico City. He's been there for 6 weeks. He paid out of his pocket to go there and acclimate to the elevation. Nobody would do that. Nobody on earth, especially Jeremy Stevens.
No, I paid $30,000 to spend 6 weeks ahead of time in Mexico City getting ready for this fight. And they're running it back. I think on 245.
Yeah, they've already booked it. It's done in Boston, right?
245 is
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I think it's in New York.
Yeah, either way, they worked their way onto a bigger card, a pay-per-view, whether it's prelims or not. So it kind of, as we say, it created some smoke, and now they're going to both get paid more because they both got their show money, regardless, which I'm glad.
Yeah, he only got, 77,000. We figure 30 of that you're just making up for what you just spent to be there. But for 15 seconds, man, it's a nice little walk home check. I didn't like Yair afterwards, like talking shit like, oh, he's fucking faking it, or I'm not gonna give him the rematch. It's like, dude, seriously? Like,
I'll tell you what, the way he behaved after the fight has made me where when they run it back, I'm taking Jeremy Stevens because he's hit below the belt. He's been stupid, showed he's pretty douchey, young and immature. For one, you don't say that about a veteran like Jeremy Stevens has been doing this since you were a fucking kid.
Mm-hmm.
and fought the best in the world for years and been a perennial top 5-10 guy. Now you got your ass whooped. I think he's going to get his ass whooped. He's going to get an example made. He's going to get spanked. Very similar to what Cowboy did to, wasn't it Poirier? Cowboy teach him a lesson early in his career.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to get a lesson taught, and he should. Yair's talented, but you know what? I can't fuck with it either.
Do they host another event in Mexico City after the fight was called off? The place erupted. Shit starts getting thrown. Paper, like napkins, cups, fucking beer bottles, everything getting thrown towards the ring. I saw a clip on Twitter. Michael Bisping recorded it, just holding his phone, going up and around. His little buddy underneath the table.
Yeah. Well, Herb Dean fucking scattered like a fart in the wind when it started going down. Like he didn't know. And I get it. Who knows what the fuck they're throwing? If you're in there, you don't know if it's going to be batteries, fucking, who knows what it's going to be. And so my reaction personally would be like, fuck them. No, don't ever go back. But all it's going to do is make more people want to buy tickets and come to another event there. So, but was it classless? Yes. Was it stupid? Yes. People that watched it, have you ever seen a referee handle an eye poke better than Herb Dean handled that, though?
No, I thought that was great. They gave him his full time, was talking with the doctors to make sure that it was clear. Like, listen, we're giving him his time. Relax. Don't just do it yet. Let's see what happens. Walking him through the eye spasming. No, he handled that one very well.
Yeah, he was trying to get the fight to continue instead of like what a lot of refs do, kill it early or let the doctor get in too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Herb, I've always thought he's one of the best, but to me, the way he handled that eye poke was best I've ever seen.
Facts. For the news,
yep,
BJ Penn released from the UFC.
Well, what do you think about that first? I want to get your thoughts before mine.
It makes sense, especially after the 2 bar fights or the 1 bar fight that he was in that produced the 2 videos. You're just getting old. I don't think he should fight. Like he should be done.
Well, he got KO'd in that street fight out in the road.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. Like it was the first video was like him winning, and then the second video is where that guy clipped him and he put him down.
Yeah, and I mean that to me is the more telling of it because when you get older, your chin starts going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't take a fucking hook from Joe Smith. You're definitely not going to be able to take one from fucking Conor McGregor or whoever you fight. You never would.
I mean, speaking of Yair from Mexico City. I mean, he beat the shit out of BJ Penn.
Yes, he did.
Like right then and there, it's like, dude, you're done, bro. Like you're just done. It's fine. Like it happens. Time's up. You're still an ambassador for the sport. You're a fucking prodigy, a fucking legend. Ride off into the sunset and the glory, opening up your schools throughout Hawaii and
train the next greats from Hawaii. It's an untapped resource. I mean, him and Max Holloway.
Right.
Just fucking find the next Hawaiian studs, man, and get the UFC to Hawaii like everyone wants. The first UFC in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Make that your mission. But yeah, don't fight anymore, bro. You're fucking nothing to prove. You're the fucking prodigy. Who gives a shit about your record? He's a Hall of Famer, but he's just past his time.
Right. Wanderlie Silva is competing in bare knuckle boxing.
This makes me sad.
Dude.
Listen, I want to read off some of the names. These are the guys that have been released by MMA organizations and are now fighting bare knuckle. You got Bigfoot Silva. We're both fans of this guy, Gabriel Gonzaga.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Lieben, Lobov, Melvin Gillard, Jason Knight.
Even Gillard? Damn.
Yeah, Jason Knight, and now Wanderlie Silva. 90% of those, the exception being Jason Knight, are well beyond their prime, and it's dangerous for them to still be fighting, in my opinion, just because they've been through so many wars and battles. Fuck, man, it's such a it's a money grab, and I hate that legends like that have to still do this for money. Like that shows how little they were paid back then, and I don't know, it sucks. But who am I to tell a guy he can't fight anymore?
Yeah, no, I mean his friends and family should be telling him not to fight, really. And if it's just a money grab, there's got to be other ways to make the money. Schools, finding prospects, becoming a promoter or a manager.
Dude,
There's
you
got to
think Wanderlie started his career in 1996 fighting
Jesus.
Brazilian Vale Tudo, which is bare knuckle.
Yeah.
Brazilian Vale Tudo. That's where Wanderlie Silva started before Pride. So he was bare knuckling when we were in high school. And now he's going back to bare knuckling. And me and you are old men with kids. Unfucking credible. Unbelievable. Yeah. And scary for me. Like, his face has already been rebuilt. I mean, Wanderlie, he looks like Caitlyn Jenner, but his is because of damage. He's had to have his nose rebuilt, his orbitals. It's not a good idea.
No, it's definitely not. I don't think he should. Yeah, I mean, speaking like of their pay, like even Peterson was 78,000 for his win, and he only got 50 of that because of the knockout.
Yeah.
If he didn't get that, that's 28,000. That's less than I make in a year.
And like we were saying, and then the other trainers that he flew out to fucking Mexico City. I mean, doing all that, and then you take taxes away, and then you take away how much you have to pay your gym just to train. I mean, fuck, man, these guys are making peanuts.
So sad.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get over that. If Moreno made $37,000, that blows my tits off. You know what he took home after everything? Fucking, it can't be hardly anything for a war like that. That guaranteed took a year or two off his life. I mean, those wars.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Former WC and IBF boxing champion Ava Knight wins her MMA debut by TKO with a jab to the body. I should have put the link in there so you can watch the jab, dude. It was pretty brutal.
I've seen it. Nobody wants to smoke.
No,
I don't want to stand up with this girl. Nobody wants it. They'll say they want it. They'll take her down. The good wrestlers. Nobody wants to stand and strike with this mother. When you get knocked out with a jab to the body, not a liver shot, not a liver, a hook to the liver or right under the ribs, a jab to the body knocks you out. You don't want the smoke.
No, hell no. From the Copenhagen card, which again, that card fucked me up. Mark Madsen defeated Danilo Belluardo in his debut. He's 35, so kind of late to have your UFC debut, but he's 9-0 in MMA, won there. When I looked at the UFC app to bring up for the fights where I was sending you, like, these are my picks, who are your picks, his name wasn't on there.
Yep.
Like their app, for as much money as they bring in, the UFC app, Fight Pass app, it needs to be better.
Their whole website needs to be better. It's incredibly how shitty it is.
Their updates need to be more, like, they didn't have a picture of OSP on there until after his fight. It's like, there should be around the clock maintenance on that site, making sure everything is up to date. There's so much news, so many fights.
When they can't build stars, that should be part of building your stars. There should be fucking links to behind the scenes videos to get to know your fighters. Did you know things? Profiles on these guys. Because Mark Madsen, people don't know, he's a fucking Olympic champion.
Right.
He's a wrestler. He's a fucking savage. Nobody knows.
I did, especially because I thought Gunnar would have been the co-main event.
I would do until after this fight. I'm off the Gunnar train. He makes me go to sleep.
Yeah. I meant more for, like, name-wise. He must be ranked higher. So how are you not?
No, totally.
But, I mean, it was a good fight. He schooled him.
How much does it bother you when a guy that is a jiu-jitsu killer doesn't use their jiu-jitsu.
A lot,
Insane.
a lot. Yeah, no, that I was expecting, especially after the way Gilbert was talking about it, I was hoping to see more shit on the ground.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock started Valor Bare Knuckle. The first event was the 21st of September, and I do know that Pat Miletich was doing the commentating.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and check out some stuff from there.
Well, I mean, this shit, the upsurge in bare knuckle, it concerns me for a couple of reasons. I can watch a bare knuckle. I enjoy it. But the lacerations, like everybody talks about how bloody they are, but it's superficial injuries. They're not getting, because when you have no gloves, you can't punch as hard or you'll break your hands. That's the whole art of it.
Mm-hmm.
But with those edges of knuckles and shit, I mean, it's perfection. It's like elbows all the time.
Right.
So the amount of cuts these guys get, it bothers me. And of course their pay, it's even worse. So I don't know, man. I'm not a huge Ken Shamrock. Honestly, no offense to Ken. He's a legend and all that. Not the best business sense, not the best track record with following up and follow through. So concerns me with him starting a promotion. Guys like that end up not paying fighters. And then there's always a big fuckery. I mean, Bosch got himself in that when he became VP of that company and still hadn't paid Chris Lieben for his first bare knuckle fight.
Really? See, that's not good. That's never a good sign.
No.
You don't want to be chasing your money, especially after beatings like that.
Nope.
Richard Kelly fined $1,000 for giving Michael Venom Page the finger during the weigh-ins, and now MVP's behavior is being investigated. Well, or it's under review to see if he's unsportsmanlike.
I mean, sometimes I think they forget this is basically a street fight, right? These are still two guys like a street. We don't want to make it so fucking commercialized that it becomes the NFL and we're seeing penalty flags and shit. You know what? Guys and girls that are fighters are going to be fighters sometimes, and there needs to be some leeway. Now, I don't think you should be able to go the full Conor McGregor,
but it can't be throwing,
chairs and shit and hitting old men in bars. But middle fingers, nudges, pushes, come on. You know what? Sell the fights. Stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really see a problem with them giving the finger. Who cares? You're getting ready to fight them. You're not supposed to like them and be, smiling, hugs and handshakes like, oh, I can't wait to do this. And no, you're going to murk somebody that's in your way of your goal.
Dude, have you seen a worse, less sportsmanship display than Jorge after he killed Ben Askren? And we loved it. There's never been worse.
What are you talking about? That wasn't that bad.
I know. When he laid stiff and fucking counted him out, tapped him out on the canvas, like that was awesome.
Yes. Holly Holm is out of the upcoming UFC 243, which goes down October 5th. She was supposed to fight Raquel Pennington in a rematch. I was actually kind of excited because I want to see Raquel get over that hump and get up there again.
Yeah, after her beating from the Lioness, fucking what's her name? The champ. Fucking
Amanda Nunes.
Amanda Nunes, dude, beat her ass, made her want to quit. Yes, I agree with you. That's a big stepping stone because Holly Holm is that she could be a champion on almost any given night. I know her record has fallen, but she's fought the best of the best: Cyborg, Nunes, Rousey, and she's went the distance with most of them. So yeah, that's no joke. If you can get over Holly Holm, but unfortunately, Holly, she started so late coming from her boxing and kickboxing career. I think we're starting to see the wear and tear on her body. She's fucking yoked too, but a torn hamstring, that's tough.
Yeah, it's never a good sign, and I don't think they're going to find anybody to replace Holm with this notice. I mean, fighters have done it in less, but I don't think so. I don't think the talent pool's there
No.
up in that area of the ranking system. Is Nunes the greatest fighter ever?
I mean, if you look at who she's beat and how she
Legend,
beat them, you have to say yes.
right? She's the legend killer. She smoked them all.
It's and wasn't she left no doubt. You know, if there was any wiggle room or if they were, you know, split decisions or it's not that. She killed those motherfuckers.
Right. Earl Spence dropped Porter in the 11th and won via split decision. I don't watch too much boxing. I'm more excited for the Fury Wilder
And
go around.
Ruiz and Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for those. That's about it for me too. I mean, I know of this fight and everything, and boxing is in a better place than it had been, like especially in the heavyweight. I think that's the most important barometer in boxing. And right now, that top four that you and I just mentioned makes it very credible again. So what scares me is they put these fucking can fights in between their big fights. And like we said last show, that almost got ruined with Fury with that cut.
Yeah.
All it takes to fuck up everybody's universe and ruin a $40 million event and make it a no $1 million event.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what would happen too. Bellator 228 was also this past weekend.
Yeah, it was a pretty good card. I actually thought it was overall better than the UFC cards. And I know you've got this. Well, actually, I'll wait till you get to it because it's a great story.
Gegard Maso. You know what's funny too is before, I think Bellator is not harder to pay attention to, but you don't hear about it as much. And now that they're on DAZN versus like a regular pay-per-view thing, I think as far as for me, it's dropped off that much more. But I was just thinking the other day that I have not heard anything about Gegard recently. And then it's like, oh, he's fighting Leo Machida, and he actually pulled off a win via the split decision. It looked like it was a lot of good back and forth.
It was a good fight.
Could have gone either way. He just edged it out.
Yeah, Machida, though, back on that sauce, baby, looks like a different man. You go to Bellator, you can hit that PRT again. Looks like a young man again. Look at everybody. Look at Lyoto Machida's body. Bellator now, UFC toward the end. I say let him look like Bellator, damn it. And get that little no USADA, you know.
Yeah, no shit.
A little room for these guys, and I like that shit.
Patricio Pitbull defeated Juan Archuleta via unanimous decision.
Mauled him.
I like some of the old UFC guys going to Bellator. I don't know. I wish they were, like, I think we've said it multiple times now, there was some way that UFC would be a smart play and not unify, but I don't know, work with them more or something. Do an all-out event, your top, my top, something.
I think the UFC's scared, to be honest, bro. I think the UFC sees like there's no upside for them because if they go and they say they sweep the Bellator fighters, they should have.
Right.
Should have. But if they go and they lose, like they very well could, because the top of the Bellator is as good as the top of the UFC, pretty much in most divisions.
Yeah.
Like the light heavies and the 185s and 155. But you go in there and you lose, 3 of 5, 3 of 6 fights. All of a sudden, Bellator's got the smoke. And that could be a real thing. So UFC's like, shit, there's not enough for us to gain. There's only shit for us to lose.
That is true. Well, then work it out that they're the farm system then. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree with you. I think they should still do something, even if it's just one fight, one belt, one weight class. Don't put it all on the line. I would love to see it.
How can you say you're a world champion when there's other organizations?
Yeah, that's always been the fucking case. I wish they would do something just to see.
AJ McKee defeated Georgie, a lot of name that I'm never going to pronounce, Karakahanyan.
Yeah.
Via KO in 8 seconds. Just mauled him. One punch got him down, and then just hammered him until the guy stopped it. It was kind of not a late stoppage, but I think he got up more than he should have been or needed to. Should have been able to. The ref should have definitely stopped that a little bit, maybe one or
Yeah,
two.
yeah, he could have let that be a walk off if he really wanted to,
Yeah,
and
he
that one or two shots.
he was out.
But what
uh,
the greater story, and you have that next, is Antonio McKee fought.
yeah.
And the only thing that's wrong, you got him at 40. He's 49,
Oh
which is
shit!
more impressive. His last fight, he was 45. 4
Jesus.
years ago, back in 2014, was his last fight. He was 45. He's 40 fucking 9. That's his dad, AJ's dad. For those that don't know, that's the biggest story in MMA from this whole time that we've been between shows. What a good story.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Won
And
via
Black,
TKO in the second round.
yeah, Black don't crack either. Antonio McKee looks like he could still be 30. Dude's 49 years old and still bringing it.
I mean, how crazy of the celebration that they must have had. You watch your son put down a man, you go out and handle your biz, and then it's you going out showering the world. Fucking, I'd be everywhere, be
Oh, for
partying
sure.
all night.
And that's a huge thing for Bellator. And what's even bigger is I know not everybody's such a nerd about this shit like you and I are, but I watched Antonio's post-fight interview. Couldn't be a better man, ambassador for the sport. He's a big coach. His fighters are who got him, talked him back into fighting again, which are his son and other fighters. And he could not speak more highly of Scott Coker. And he was honest. He was like, the UFC has come after AJ to try to lure him from Bellator. They've even offered him more money.
Wow.
And Antonio has steered his son to stay and be loyal to Bellator because of how well Scott Coker sticks by his fighters in comparison. He's just trying to give him his knowledge from his career.
Yeah, no, it's
Different. That goes a long way to some people, you know?
yeah, no, it definitely does, especially when when UFC is very Dana White will throw a fighter under the bus real quick.
He'll cut you.
Yeah.
Right after he told you you're the next big thing, Dana White will cut you if he fucking wants to.
Yeah. UFC Copenhagen free on ESPN Plus was this past Saturday. It threw me off. I did not look at the start time. So
Yeah.
you're like, hey, you're already down. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, we both shit on this one.
Yeah, yeah. We're both 1-4. And some of the fights were good, and then some of them were definitely not good. First up was Nicholas Dalby defeated Alex Cowboy Oliveira, as he should have. He was definitely whooping that ass. But I mean, it was kind of first and second round. I thought were tie. Like it was a good back and forth. I don't get the. I don't know if they just don't know what they're doing, new refs or what happened. Alex Oliveira had Dalby on the ground, was moving into side control, it looked like, or at least trying to get up there, still working, throwing punches to soften him up so he could switch positions. And then the ref just tapped him on the shoulder and stood him up.
Dude, he was advancing his position because whatever people that don't do jiu-jitsu or know anything about it, if you're going from someone's guard, you're trying to pass the guard to get the side control to mount. That means you're advancing. That means you're working. Now, if you're just complacent to stay in their guard and lay on top of them and you're doing nothing, I'm all good with the stand-up. Like then you're just taking time off.
Right.
But he's advancing. That's part of the game. That's part of the art and the difficulty to do that. And for them to stand him up, that's fucking robbery. I don't care. I hate it because I thought Dalby was he's a good up and coming fighter. He's smart. He knows what to, especially his call out. We'll talk about that in a minute. But to me, that's fucked up, especially with Oliveira because his submissions are very well documented. That motherfucker can submit you, and feel like they fucked him.
Yeah, definitely. So Dalby at the end of the match called out Mike Perry. I thought that was a smart call out.
Finally, a smart call out. Instead of shooting for the fucking moon, he's being smart and just shooting for the top of the tree, which is, always shoot up, but don't call out Conor McGregor when you're a brand new motherfucker.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. I'm excited to see his next fight. I would watch Dalby's next fight.
Me too.
I wonder. I mean, so many cards. Like, where do you put him now? Do you put him on a pay-per-view as like a prelim?
Yeah, with Mike Perry, just because for one, shout out to the best broken nose in UFC history. We talked about that too. When he comes back, I just want to see how that nose holds up and it's still there, because Dalby's going to hit him in it. And yeah, I put him on a prelim of a good card. I'm always down to watch a Mike Perry scrap.
Hell yeah.
Say it. I hated the guy at first. I've kind of become a fan because he comes to go to war.
Yes. Yeah. No. I think I've liked him actually since I first saw him fight, because he comes to bang and he'll just stay. He doesn't shoot off. Like, I'm not aiming at. I wasn't really talking too much aiming at the top or calling out top guys. It was more coming into who's next. Let's bang.
For sure.
His nose definitely looked like Artie Lang's after his last fight.
Woo! Both of those are fucking incredible.
I
Artie
mean,
still makes me want to throw up, but good for him. He's 8 months sober today, by the way.
yeah, saw. OSP,
My man, Tennessee Vol, baby.
I shouldn't have picked against him. Defeated Michael, again, some other long ass last name that I'm just gonna butcher, Oletsky or whatever, something like that, via the Von Flute choke. OSP owns 4 out of the 6.
Yeah, ever done in MMA.
Right.
And
it's crazy.
OSP choke. It's not the Von Fluke choke anymore. It's the OSP choke, because for one, his is beautiful. He can get it from so many different angles, and for God's sakes. But first round, OSP got his ass whooped the whole round.
Yeah. Because you had already said I was down 0-2, so now I'm watching this one, and I'm wondering, like, how's he losing? Like, how's he gonna lose?
Yeah,
he's winning. I didn't look up how he defeated him. I was just looking up how, like, I'm waiting for the loss.
Yeah,
and then once he took him down, I'm like, crap. No, there we go.
Yeah, made total sense. But I thought it was interesting because OSP said after the fight, because his question lately has been his chin. He hadn't been, and he took more shots in that first round than he's taken in his last 5 fights. And he was like, I've got my weight cut under control and I can take shots better. So maybe there's something to that, So he absorbed a lot of shots.
The Von Flue choke I looked up afterwards was created by Jason Von Flue.
Yep.
And he was a professional fighter in 1999, competed the UFC, WEC, Strikeforce, King of the Cage. It's a defensive move to stop the guillotine.
Yep.
It's great. It's crazy that you're basically just laying on the guy. You kind of angle yourself like make a triangle shape, like you stand up. So you're the form of the triangle, and you're just basically driving your shoulder into their neck.
Yeah, you use your shoulder on one side of the neck, on one side of the airway. On the other side, you've got your arm under his neck and then behind your other arm. So you're basically crushing the neck between your forearm and your delt. So a bigger guy like OSP, it makes sense because he's got big, beefy delts, and his squeeze looks terrible. I mean, I knew the guy was going to tap or go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you call that. I should have went with the OSP on that one. I was like, fuck. All right. Ion Cabela defeated Khalil Roundtree via TKO in the first round, came out flying. I was not expecting that. I had Khalil Roundtree because I like Roundtree.
Yeah, and Roundtree looked like a savage in his last fight where he came back with that Muay Thai stance and he was all fucking killer striker. So I was on board too because we both took Roundtree.
Mm-hmm.
And this kid came out and was like, fuck your Muay Thai stance, bitch. And fuck your elbows. Taste my elbows. Because Khalil got a couple elbows off early.
Yeah.
And that kid was like, your elbows are like a bitch. Watch mine. and he murked him.
I showed him even on the weigh-ins or whatever. He like screamed in his face and backed up Roundtree like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was
Like,
very weird. It was uncomfortable. Like he was. Those kind of guys are like, you know, when that's all he did, because he didn't push him, didn't punch him, he just screamed, and I was like, savage.
yeah,
In there. There's something wrong with him. He's
either,
crazy.
either that I was waiting for the news article saying that he got popped.
Oh, for sure.
That was the other thing I was waiting for. I'm like, oh shit. All right, watch it come out that he pissed hot or something because he just. I mean, it was a dominant performance. He was just on him, all over him.
Yep.
Gilbert Burns defeated Gunnar Nelson, unanimous decision. I'll take Gilbert Burns. I was excited. Gilbert Burns coming off of one, he was short notice for this fight.
Mm-hmm.
He won his last short notice fight. He came in, and the reason why he wanted this fight was because he wanted to test himself on the ground. So I was hoping to get some ground action, especially with Gunnar, and it just did not.
Yeah, that's why I took Gunnar Nelson. I'll never make that mistake again. It was a snooze fest. Gunnar has become one of those guys that thinks he's a striker when his jiu-jitsu is so top-notch. I mean, Gunnar Nelson used to be, if he got your neck, you're done. That's it. If he got your back, you're done. It was like Damian Maia 2.0. But now he's like, you know what? Fuck the jiu-jitsu that I spent half my life learning. Who needs it?
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating. Very. Jared Cannonier defeated Jack Hermanson.
Nobody saw this coming. I don't care who they say they are.
No.
Marked him too. Just stone cold, vicious nastiness. What a letdown for Hermanson. Home country, built a card around you. You'd let your whole country down.
I mean, I mean, even the way they were talking, like the whole lead up to the fight was him. Like he's aiming up, they're gunning him, and I mean, Cannonier looked great.
He did.
You're right. I don't think anybody had him. I almost went with him just for the sake of an argument,
Sure.
but I don't know. I went with Hermanson. I don't know. He was. I'm gunning for the belt. I'm coming to show my country all my shit, and he got smoked. Like, all right.
That hurts when that happens. That happened to Gus in Sweden. You know, I hate when I see a main card guy at home and they fucking lose. Like, it breaks my heart for them. So as much as I joke on Hermanson, I'm kidding because I feel bad for him. I know that's a heavy burden to carry, which is what always made me very impressed with Conor McGregor, because wherever he went, he was carrying Ireland because they showed out for every fight.
Yeah, no shit, huh?
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, with Conor, like he at least bounces back from his losses, to say the least. Like, he'll still come out and he's ready to fight the next day.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
he losses very well. Conor's never been a sore loser. Nobody could say that.
No,
always stood up and said, you know what, all the shit I was selling the fight, much respect, got my ass whooped, I'll run it back.
I mean, even the shit with Khabib, he's like, dude, I want it back. Let's go. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Like, even after that, you just took a beating, and now you're ready to go at it again with the same guy that just beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah, because you're gonna get the smoke again from Khabib. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no shit.
But proud of your guts.
That dude's going 30-0.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my thought, is he's gonna go 30, and then that's it. He's retiring.
Well, now we're going to talk about one of our favorites, who I say give him a shot at Khabib again, just to shock the fucking world.
Raging
Al. Fucking love that guy.
UFC 243, as I said earlier, is October 5th on pay-per-view through ESPN Plus. I don't know what you call that now.
Yeah, ESPN Plus, I guess.
Right. Robert Whittaker looks to unify the belt with going against Israel Stylebender Adesanya.
Dude, I want us to go ahead and do our picks now on that fight. And I'm interested to see who you're going to take. You taking Stylebender?
I really want to. I like him. I think he is definitely one of the next ones. Whitaker is such a he looks like a bigger guy. Not that size always wins.
Mhm.
Uh, but he's also, I think, very underrated for as good as he is.
Agreed.
I
So,
yeah. So I'm gonna take Stylebender.
all right. So let me show. I don't know if you can even see it with my camera written in pen. You probably can't even see it,
No,
but
that I mean that's a little
I
fine
wrote
print.
I wrote Stylebender, but I'm changing it. I've got to go with Whitaker.
Whitaker.
And the reason why I could get burned because Whitaker's been through 3 straight wars. Like his last 3 fights have been fucking wars. But I think his wrestling and his grittiness are something that can just maybe be a difference maker. I don't know. I could lose. I could totally lose my ass on this fight. I'm a huge Stylebender fan. Definitely feel like Whitaker's going to look twice as big girth wise compared to Stylebender when they get in the octagon. But it wouldn't surprise me if Stylebender kicked his head off. And
Yeah, I mean he's just flashy. He throws a lot of unorthodox techniques from a lot of different angles, and they land. And when they do land, there's power behind them. It's not just taps.
but the amount of punishment Whitaker took from that last Yoel Romero fight
Yeah,
is like the fucking Terminator.
yeah.
Should have been finished 5 times in that fight. So I don't know, man. My gut is saying to take Stylebender, but my heart is saying take Whitaker. So for the discussion, I'll take Whitaker. You take Stylebender.
Fair enough. And then the co-main event to that is Raging Al returns to face off with Dan Hooker. I like Raging Al.
I'll never bet against Raging Al
No.
unless he was fighting Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I just don't think. I think he's the most undersold fighter where they've missed their mark and their chance to make a superstar than they did by fucking over and pissing off Raging Al, not pushing him. Not he could been,
Not having him be the next Matt Serra. I mean, he's from Sarah's camp.
and he's better. He's a better
Yeah.
fighter than Matt Serra, and I love Matt Serra. But Raging Al, dude, he fucking went 5 rounds with Khabib and took all the smoke and was like, "Shit, I'm still here."
On short notice.
On 1 second notice, dude. What a savage! He's out there selling real estate, smoking cigars. Gets the call, and he's like, "All right, I'm down. Pay me the money, and I'm there."
How crazy is that he sells real estate?
What a beast, dude! What a stud, though. I'm telling you, if he gets back into the title picture, I'm totally cool with him getting another shot at Khabib and paying that motherfucker through the tits. Because honestly, I think even Khabib would tell you the only person that's ever really pushed him like to the max was fucking Raging
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wouldn't go away.
Yeah, especially after you saw him pound the shit out of Michael Johnson, beat the shit out of Connor. Who else has he fought? They just Poirier. He just dominates, finishes him, and yet Raging Al off of short notice. What was it 6 days?
It was super
Or,
short. I don't remember how many days, but no one on earth should be able to do that and fight Khabib and hang around. Nobody. His own training partners can't do that. And so Raging Al, dude, I want to see nothing but good things for that guy. I want to see him get his money fights and get his respect. I mean, he's kind of a folk hero now because of that, and that's good. But I want to see the UFC get behind him, use up because he's in his prime right now, and I would like to see him let him fight more, set him up, push him, make him a big star, and let him get some fights, make some money, and retire.
is that I think that's one of the things that they have to do now, right? They're older vets. They have to give them the bigger money fights, not necessarily ones for titles, but go for like the big money fights where you can, and them old people that aren't just you're gonna have like John Jones is gonna stay the reign the light heavyweight champ. So you're I don't know whoever's next up, Gustafson. Well, he retired, right? So But if he comes back, give him like a big money fight versus a title shot again.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz, like instead of going, well, I mean, you get
Oh,
the baddest mother.
the BMF belt is the prime
Yeah,
example of what you're saying. Like
yeah.
that's what you do. Just and don't they can't knock it off. But to let everybody know that Dana White did confirm that they're making a belt, $50,000 belt. That's what it costs to make it. I can't wait to see it.
Mm. And Dwayne Johnson is wrapping it around the winner's waist.
Dude, that to me that's better than any fucking bullshit belt they've got. And I think this belt will have more respect on it for enthusiasts and MMA fans than any belt in the thing. And this will show you too that a non-title fight can lead a card. Goddamn. I mean, we're gonna do a fight companion, I hope, for that fight.
I think we should.
I'm down. It's to me the most important fight.
It'll be a late one, but I think we should. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I mean, that fight's just going to be. I'm trying to remember who else they said was on the card.
Who cares? But yeah, I don't know either.
244. I'm trying to remember who they said was fucking next. Here, let me Google real quick. Dun, dun, dun.
All that matters is people that are on that card, for one, they're going to get paid because this card is going to do better than any fight since, Connor, for sure.
You have Derek Lewis versus Blagojevov, Ivan, some Russian guy. I can't get that one. But Corey Anderson's going to fight Johnny Walker, so that should be a great fight. Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till. That should be a great fight. Wonder Boy is on here facing Vincent Luke.
Yeah,
Luck.
that's a good fight for Wonder Boy. He's got to have a win.
Yeah, dude. It was
that's
gonna. Yeah, hell yeah.
That's a great card, actually. So yeah, I'm totally down.
But the Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, dude. That's where it's at.
Dude, Masvidal has become such a star. I love it.
It's crazy.
That fucking guy fought for 10 years before he got his break. And that's what I'm saying. I really hope they do same sort of shit can happen for Raging Al because it's not too late, you know?
No, he's, what is he, 33?
Yeah, he's fighters, he's right there, though, where his prime is running out. I just don't want to see him, not taking advantage of his star power. He should be on every card that's anywhere near New York. That's for sure. Anywhere.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about it, dude. So we're both taking Raging Al. I don't think either one of us are picking against him.
Hooker? No, hell no. I want Raging Al to win. I want, like you said, same thing. I want to see him ascend that climb once again and at least get the chance to go against Kahi before he's done.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's too many left for him. I think he's done. So young, though. He still has so much to go.
Well, shit, man. We got through this in how much time? I can't believe we got through all the fucking
hour
points. I love it.
That's what's up, man. Throwing Smoke. You can find us on Twitter at Smoke Throwing. Drop us any MMA, any combat questions that you might have. You can find me at Any Pod Will Do and live Wednesday on YouTube on the Any Podcast channel.
Yep.
And that is Mr. Randall Fowler. Where you at, sir?
Yeah, you can get us at Married as Fuck on Twitter, Married AF Podcast on Instagram, and Married AF Podcast on Facebook. Hit us up anytime. You can send the questions to the Throwing Smoke Twitter page or to me or Joe. However you want. Just get us all your MMA combat sport questions. We'll answer them. If we can't answer them, we'll research them and figure out how to get the questions answered. But bring it. We love talking about this shit.
Hell yeah, dude. Always fun getting to do this one. I like this one. It's a passion of love.
Yes. Labor of love, baby.
There you go. We will see you next time. 2 weeks.
Absolutely. We'll see you, motherfuckers. Also, shout out to Inner Circle. It's Inner Circle Entertainment Network or what, Joe?
No, we're Inner Circle Podcast Network.
All right. And it's Civilized Creatures Entertainment
Network. Yeah.
I'm confused about our own shit. We got friends and interacting between the two. I'm like, what the fuck? top 2 networks on planet Earth, though, baby, for independent podcasts. There's no doubt about that bullshit.
Hell yeah, sir. Facts.
All right. Well, we'll holler at all y'all later, Joe. And I'll hit you up soon. We'll get more shit squared away for next episode.
Hell yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
All right.
Oh.
Peace.
All right. We're out, Joe.
Sweet.